Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to navigate and how to use the daily sales and inventory report for both Unitop and Barangay Uno branch. So we're gonna make August 2026 as our guide, and let's just go to a random blank sheet. Okay. So here, as you can see, the DSIR report is empty, and as a cashier, uh, in the perspective of a cashier, of Franco's Burrito Co. cashier, it is one of our job responsibilities to encode the right sales log, okay? And of course, one of cashier's responsibilities is to physically count the cash denomination, while the cook is responsible for counting um, actual physical counting of the inventory of Franco's Burrito for both Barangay and Unitop branch. So, of course, here you'll be encoding all the receipt numbers, okay? And make sure it's itemized, okay? So what does that mean? That means that if there are multiple orders in one receipt number, say, let's say one, receipt number one, and his payment method is cash. And then let's say he ordered a plain burrito veggie, regular, of course, and he ordered multiple other food products such as a plain burrito XL and etc. etc. What you will do here is you have to input the correct receipt number, which is you have to add another one and say another one for the quesadilla. And then here the payment method will be the same, and his other orders as well as say, let's say for an example, it's a racing cane burrito, okay? And that's when you put the quantity for each. So basically, this is one receipt, but it is itemized, okay? And that way, they will be the price is automatically recording or rather reading what you input here at items sold, so you don't have to input anything in price manually. You only have to manually encode the price if say there was a price increase, and of course it will affect, say, price increase, and then you're already at 813, and say you wanted the new price here to come out, but the price here for plain veggie burrito is 99 pesos. It became 110, so it will show 110 here. However, that price would also affect the price here. So what does that mean? If ever there's, say, a price increase, you have to manually encode this. So how would you do this, say, manually? So say that you have finished making the report for this DSIR specifically. What you could do here is you could do a shift, then right, control, shift down, shift up. And what you can do here is that you can just copy or control C, then control shift V. So what does that do? It removes the formula, and it manually encodes, or rather what you can see here is the value only. So there's no formula involved. If I press undo, you'll see the formula right there. As you can see here above, the X lookup. So that's how you can say if there's a price increase, you can keep the old price here, and therefore you won't have any discrepancies. So moving forward to the, say, the inventory audit, let's say moving forward here to the cash summary, of course. So transaction volume by payment type, this is automatic. So this just basically, it just records the amount of transactions or the volume of transactions per day per payment type. So if there's a cash here, say there's C, it's the same receipt, but all the payment method is cash. If you input here too and here cash, then that way it will record there's a two transactions of cash. So it's that simple. So here you have to input the cash forward from previous, or the loose change from previous, which was cash forwarded from August 11, right here. Whatever the cashier inputs here, And then afterward, the cashier here, whoever's the cashier for that day, and then yeah, this one here over here, you don't have to do anything with this since this is automatic. And please do not manually change the formula here because it automatically sums up the correct amount per payment type for the payment type summary. Okay, so it automatically computes it. So don't change this, please, as well as with our total sales and the actual cash. What you only have to input here as a cashier is the cash forward from the next day. So meaning the loose change or yung panukle na ititira nyo sa inyong kaha para sa sunod na araw. Then of course, the cash collected, meaning the amount of money that you will have collected for the managers, and then the date when it was received, if ever, and then received by whoever here. Okay. And then afterward, of course, if you have expenses, kindly please input here so that the auditor is notified about the cashier's expenses or Franco's Burrito branch expenses. The denomination input here at the yellow highlighted cells. Why? If you input here, this is already automatic. So what you just have to do here, if there are 7 pieces of 1,000, you just have to input here 7. It automatically computes everything. Okay? So you don't have to manually input the total. Okay? So here, the expenses, of course, you'd have to add here the expenses since it was part of the cash register's money. Okay? Then, of course, your purchase order here for the say for the next day. That means that the PO that you will be preparing for the next day, meaning that will be delivered the next day, and of course your delivery receipt for today. And who requested this? And who received the delivery receipt, the delivery of the PO, okay? And who delivered the PO, all right? Then the notes and the audit remarks are, this is not for you, this is for the auditor, okay? Then moving on to the inventory audit summary. So for the cooks, or rather the cashiers, when the cooks have finished the actual physical count, of course, you have to always input the actual physical count. This is a mandatory that you input the correct actual physical count so that there are zero variances or there's a little bit of negative variance or positive variance. Okay. All right. So if you transfer any, let's say if you transfer any supplies to say either branches, you input here. Okay. That means that is if that's positive, that means transfer in, meaning that came from the unit up to barangay. Let's say I'm a cashier from Barangay Uno and we needed supplies of 10-inch wraps. So the unit up has extras that they can give. That means that say 10 pieces of supplies, meaning transfer in for Barangay Uno. However, for unit up, it must be negative 10, since that means that they transferred out that 10-inch wrap to Barangay Uno. Of course, if there are ways, kindly please encode it immediately here so that you don't forget. And the deliveries, if there are any deliveries of the POs, kindly please input here, okay? And together here at the delivery received, okay? So that's important. And please only type in numbers. There are already unit of measurements beside the beginning stock, and make sure it's all numbers. Because if it's like say 500G or 500 pieces, it won't be able to read the expected ending and the variance won't be able to read the cell. So if you type in 500 rather, they will be able to read it. And now, of course, the beginning stock, this is not the beginning stock basically it reads the actual physical count from the previous day. So that is why it's always important that you input the correct actual physical count and that you always don't leave the actual physical count blank, because if you leave this blank, it won't be able to read for the next day. Okay. And other than that, important reminders for cashiers: make sure that your cash summary here, everything is always tally with the POS report, of course, the shift report. Make sure that if there are any overs or shorts, kindly please declare them. Okay, it's important that you declare them. Okay, how do you declare them? You put them here in your notes. All right, you can put them here over in your notes since it's important that we see them. Okay, it's important. So declare them, please. You just put it here. I was short. Okay, short whatever. Short 70 pesos.